ki wani, o tupange ki Olisi Lutui, o se Olisi, rea wa Samisoni Lutui, hini koia Samisoni Lutui, rea wa ka hini koia polkala mahiwa rewa whanau ke saya. Te ko mana kuat. Mo ai pele ate no. Moto. Mo katak. Katak mo en ko katak mo. Please forgive me. Not really. Oh, aku lahir ke te reaki, hange ko e matawa na pai ko atangi moana ni nai. There's a lot of things to say about Tupou, but kada pe te ko whanau ke ngai rea, ko pilo to la ko puna he no whanau o peke fu mai no ton. Ai ngai mea na whai ke rea ki mua. E te whengi o mea mea rea mopitania ki mahino ke nā tōru nā grandpa when Tupou Le'okava. For some of you who don't speak Tongan really well, I just want to share with you what I know of the man, the myth, the legend, and all of them are true about your grandpa, your uncle Tupou Le'okava. I had the beautiful privilege of growing up in Tonga, in Pangai specifically, and Uiha. When my mom came here, most of you know my mom is Tupou Le'okava. She left me with grandma and grandpa. And so Tupou was still living in Uiha at the time. And so grandpa would take me every month, I think, and we'd go from Pangai to Uiha. And you ever heard of the Awangamea, the rough part of the ocean? Every time we crossed Awangamea, I was just praying all that time across that I survived. Because at that time, we used to travel in a boat, I don't know, maybe 12 feet long, with an engine just bigger than a lawnmower. It's called Scala, the Scala engine. And it's about like that big. And imagine going through this big ocean wave in that little, having that little engine push a boat full of people. You know, 6 years ago I went back to Tonga, and with the boat they use now with the big engines and everything, it used to take us like 20 minutes, 25 just to cross over that rough part. Now it takes you, right now you just cut right through all that wave with all the monocle. And so when I took my son there, he didn't realize, he didn't know why it was such a bad area, why everybody talked about it. I said, imagine these waves going with the engine that big and the big size. It's scary. But I remember many times I would come back to Tupou. We would go there, visit with him, and he had to come back and get some things from Pangai, so we would ride. And the one thing I learned from my uncle, and you hear all the stories about how he used to like to fight. He used to like to just cause ruckus, you know. And let's say if the boy was grew up at this time here in America, he'd probably be doing $25 an hour on the fight. Okay, but good thing in Tonga, they slap your wrist how many times, they beat you with a board in the jail, and they let you go to give you enough time to to make the change in their life. But the two men was very similar to me. If you listen to Grandma Mele talk about how her father, Grandpa Helpo, how he changed, how he put away the cigarette, baptized and changed. But the one thing I learned when I grew up with them, I feel that Tupou learned everything from his dad and also from the effort from what I learned. They had absolutely no fear. We used to ride in that boat, going through there. And I mean, there were times when I thought it was going to capsize in some of the bad weather. And I would look to my grandpa in Tupou, and there's absolutely no fear at all. I mean, none. And I'm here just horrified. And I learned as a young kid to rely on their faith. That they had faith. When they changed, you read a lot of this in the Book of Mormon, how the Lamanite, when they changed, it was like no one else. When the prophets speak about the Nephites and their faith, but they would always say, but you're never compared to the faith of the Lamanites. I truly believe that Grandpa and Tupou Le'okava had that kind. And I think Tupou took it a little too far, where he had no fear of no one. You know, you can tell me one time he went down to the jail. He got caught for doing something stupid he just did to get caught. And I said, why'd you do that? Because I heard there was a really tough guy inside that jail, and I wanted to beat him. And so, who would you know? You know, you hear all this gang banging, all these tough kids around. Who would actually know there's a tough guy over there and literally get caught to get put in there to be with him? Okay? I know very few people who would actually take that challenge. But that's the kind of person I grew up admiring my uncle and my grandfather together because they were so similar in the way they lived. And it was such a pleasure for me because I realized that because of their parents, and I'm sure the effort in Tupou was similar, but I'm just going with the Helpo and Tupou Le'okava, that the sisters are the same. Have you ever seen Mele Arnero? She has no fear at all. You know, my mom is the smallest one, and I have seen, and there is absolutely no fear in these people, you know. And you know, some of you know I coached football for a long time in high school, and when my kids and my son and my nephew played for me, I said, hey, if you get scared, just remember, be like your uncle Tupou Le'okava, or at least be like Grandma Mele or Grandma Broto. No fear, okay? And so I guess that's the message I just want to share with you. How grateful I am to grow up with these men in my life. At such a young age, up to 10 years old, 11 years old, I knew nothing but them, growing up in Mono, in Wiha, and having the pleasure to knowing who he was. And like Tommy said, a lot of time you tread in really cautious area because if you step that line, here comes the belt. Whoa, that's American belt. We get the balalafa and roll, okay? And finally, just to close up, when they spoke about how Tupou Le'okava was a branch president and my grandpa was branch president, you got to remember, at that time, there wasn't that many members. Maybe in Kahoua and Tangyake. But when I grew up in Mangai, every Friday they would have it as like a religious end of the day on Friday, where all the ministers of Waifika will come in, all the kids and all the different in school will congregate and meet with them in the last 2 hours of school. And so you see all the Wesiliana kids, all the Sestonga kids, in all of Hapa and Pangai, I'm talking about Hikifo Hato, we all went to the same elementary school. There was only about 6 or 8 of us. Yeah, when you look at Hapa and you look at Tonga and some of your younger generation, oh, everybody's a member. No, where I grew up, okay? It was only a few, and some of our guys was embarrassed to come until they go to the Sestonga with Shiliana. There would only be 2 or 3 of us under there with the missionary. What I want to bring to you is that Tupou Le'okava and his father were both mission branch president. And I wonder about those kind of guys, why the Lord allowed them. Knowing their background. But then I saw Tupou Le'okava when he come here and he meets up with my wife's uncle, Tikata, and he used to be kind of over Koloa, and he's a rough character. And I went to Kolo when I went back to Tonga in 2005, and Lia, if some of you guys know Lia Mingolo, I didn't even know Leah was a member because he's so violent at the rugby game. But he kind of watches over Kolo. And I thought, and I listened to some of the stories of old saints here, guys like Porter Rockwell, and these guys were kind of like outlaws. And I think, man, the Lord had to bring those guys to stabilize, to make sure, because you know, Toma, if you're weak, they'll walk all over you. But I know in Pangai, no one would ever make fun of the church in front of Grandpa. And I know in Wiha, no one would dare cross in front of Tupou Le'okava, making fun of the church. And I know when I went and visited Kolo with Leah, everybody was fearful of Leah in Kolo. And so, you know, some of you guys may look at what Tangi said, some of you guys say, you know, these guys were really rough. But the Lord has a purpose for all of our lives. Whatever we've done, whatever mistake we've done, the Lord can use us. And that's what I've learned from my uncle here. He's a great man, he has a great heart. He loves his family and his sisters. He just thinks they're the greatest thing in the world. I just want to say, Amen.